Hello, I'm Rok and I just came back from Brussels where I spent some wonderful time with my wife. I want to share with you my thoughts and my experience that might help you if you decide to visit this wonderful city. First, I want to talk about what to expect from Brussels. Next, I'm gonna cover what would be the best room location for exploring the city. Then we're gonna talk about the transport and how to get around. Next, we can't forget about the food and drinks in Brussels. And lastly, I want to give you some tips and ideas if you decide to visit Brussels. As you probably know, Brussels is Belgium's capital with about 1 million people. It is also administrative center of European Union, which means Brussels has European Parliament, European Commission and various other very important EU institutions. Since Belgium is officially named Kingdom of Belgium, that means that in Brussels you will find the Royal Palace and the Belgian Parliament, although the Belgian political system is very complicated. The city is officially bilingual capital, where Dutch and French language are considered to be equal. In reality, most of the population speaks French, and also almost everyone speaks English. Historical city center developed along Seine River. Yes, the same romantic Seine River that also runs through Paris. But here in Brussels, you won't find it. In 19th century, they covered the river and they diverted it into canal. And on its place, they built new and wide boulevards. Brussels has a very well-developed tourism. It has many medieval buildings, tons of different museums, and many UNESCO World Heritage Sites. You will also find many different tour operators that offer all sorts of tours. Chocolate tours, beer tours, architectural tours, whatever you want, you will find it in Brussels. Despite some terrorist attacks that happened in the past, and despite the fact that Brussels often have different sort of protests, it is considered to be a safe city. Of course, you have to be aware of pickpockets in crowded touristy areas, but that would be more or less the only major safety concern. When considering what would be the best room location in Brussels, it's good to know a few facts. First of all, you will probably spend the most of the time in historical city center. This is relatively small and compact city center, so that means that everything is within the walking distance. If we look on the map of the city, we can also see three very distinctive areas. First of all is the historical city center. East of that, we have a part of the city dedicated to European Union institutions. And north from the historical city center, we have an area where you will find a park and a landmark of the city you will definitely want to visit. As we can see from the map, all these three areas are far apart, but the lines on the map shows us that they are connected with the metro line. Considering all these facts, my suggestion would be to look for the room relatively close to the historical city center. And it's also a good idea that you look for the room that's relatively close to the metro station. Brussels has a good public transport system. They have metro line, tram line, and public buses. Hey! And you can use all these three means of transport with the same ticket. In Brussels, you can also use public bicycle system, and they have a decent taxi service. The best way to cover longer distances within the city is to use the metro line. Some of the stations are really cool and unique. The metro is fast and reliable, and it's also clean and modern. What should you taste when you're in Brussels? Without a doubt, one of the first things you should try are Belgian waffles. There are so many different options, you will have no idea what to try, so try them all. Maybe this will come as a surprise, but Belgium and France are having an ongoing dispute about who invented French fries. Yes, that's right. Maybe French fries was invented in Belgium. So without a doubt, when you're walking the streets of Brussels, you should try the Belgian French fries. Now, if we focus on drinks, there is one drink that has no competition: Belgian beer. In Brussels, almost every street or every part of the city has a different microbrewery. There is so many different options that you can go crazy. And Belgian beers are also famous to have fruity flavors. And the most famous of them all is the cherry beer. And definitely one of the most important ones, chocolate. Chocolate in all different shapes and forms, and all the little candies filled with all the little crazy stuff. You should just go crazy with it. The number one gift you should get to all your friends is Belgian chocolate. No matter when you decide to visit Brussels, the weather is always unpredictable. Umbrellas are not gonna help you much, but it's always good to be prepared for rain. Brussels is a good starting point for day trips like visiting Bruges, Antwerpen or Ghent. Just a few kilometers outside of Brussels, you can visit Waterloo. This was the place of a famous big battle where Napoleon Bonaparte in 1815 finally lost, and that meant the end of the French Empire. If you're interested in architecture and in Victor Horta, do your research well in advance and book the tours well ahead. Visiting his houses is very limited, and if you don't do that, you may end up being very disappointed when you visit Brussels. I hope you find this video helpful and interesting. Thank you for watching, and please click the subscribe button. With one click, you can help us create more videos like this one. Thank you.